What's up guys, it's Matt Collins-Jones here, also known as the D365 Geek, and today we're talking about Power Automate and Microsoft Teams. Now, unlike Project Oakdale and unlike Power Virtual Agent, which are now available in Teams, Power Automate or Flow has been available in Teams for some time with some limited functionality. I'm going to take you through how to use this functionality as well as some changes that we have now that we have Project Oakdale in public preview. So one of the things I was trying to do, because I've never covered this before, is show you all about the app for Power Automate inside of Microsoft Teams. So let's get started. So I'm in Microsoft Teams here. I've got my web browser version up. And just like we did with Power Apps and with Power Virtual Agent, I can click on the three dots and I can click on More Apps. And then I can search in here for Power Automate. And you'll find nothing. Well, you'll find a load of connectors and things like that and loads of apps that you can use, but it's not covered on Power Automate. It is still under the traditional flow, just like you have with the Excel connector. So I can click on it and I can click Add, and then I get this flow icon in the command bar, whatever it's called, and we can see some of the stuff from the previous time I've installed this before. So it installs as an app, but we get these different things along the top. So we get a chat. So this is me basically talking to a bot to do certain actions that I can do with Power Automate. So I can do things like, if I expand this, I can do things like learn more, list flows, run flows, or describe flows. And I can type that into the chat, or I can click one of these and it'll do certain things. So if I click list flows and hit enter, it's going to go off and it's going to pull through a list of flows that I have available. And it even says I can run any flows that trigger on a schedule or manually triggered with no inputs. So that's kind of important that that's what this can do. So you could type something into here like trigger this flow, like, run flow and then specify the name of it, which is actually what we're going to do as well. But more importantly, what we can do is we can actually build and see flows directly inside of here. So this is looking at my default environment, and that's kind of important. So this is only going to look at the default environment because that's probably where your Microsoft Teams is going to be. It's going to all be pushed into your default environment or your personal productivity environment. So all of these flows that I see here are the ones in my personal productivity or my default environment, not in my personal environments that I have set up for my testing and things like that. So that's one important thing to note. But we can do all the same things that we can use to do in flow. So we can click on new, we can create an automated flow, create an instant flow, schedule flow, UI flow, or business process flow. We can go through and we can see a list of flows. We can run them straight from in here. We can edit them in here. We can share them. I can switch across and I can see things like team flows, business process flows, etc., all inside here, and UI flows. I do also have a business process flows tab up here, which again will just load my business process flows, of which I don't have any in this environment. And it also has an approvals button. So the approvals tab is basically like the action tab inside of Power Automate Web, where you can see ones you sent, ones you received, and your history of your approvals as well. So we can see different approvals in here. So if we go back to flow for a second, I can create a brand new flow inside here, or I can edit an existing one. So what I'll do is I'll create a new one. So we'll create an instant one. We'll trigger this from a manual trigger and we'll call it MS Teams Trigger Flow for the weather. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard for later, but we'll come back to that. So click on Create. Now we noticed that when we were using the chat, it said you cannot run flows which have any inputs from manual trigger. So I'm not putting input in this. All I'm going to do is I'm going to use the MSN weather connector. I'm just going to return the weather to me for today. So we'll get the weather forecast for today. And we will, what we'll do is we'll put in my location, which will be Manchester. Change that to metric, and that's it. We'll hit save. So we will go back to our chat, and what we'll do is we'll say list flows again. Flows. It's going to give me a list of my flows now, and it's not updated with the latest one, the last one that I did. Maybe it just needs a second. Let's try that again. List flows. No, doesn't want to see that flow that I just created. So click run flows and we'll try this, and it'll probably say can't find the flow. Yeah, can't find the flow. Right, let us try this. I did create that flow and it didn't have any inputs. No inputs. Can we just test this in here directly? Test. It may just be that I didn't create my connection to the MSN weather app. Now that I've done that, it'll probably let me do it. Something good to know. Flow ran successfully, so we can see all this in here, and we can see all the information, and that's great. And I can go back, and I can type run flow. Now I can write list flows, or I can just choose it from that drop down, and I should hopefully get an 8th one down here. So MS weather one. So now if I hit run flow and then copy this into here, hit run, it'll say it's done. If the flow's run and the flow weather has started. So it's not going to give me any inputs back in this chat. But what it will do is it will run that flow. So if you have say a daily task to go and do something, and you are in your Microsoft Teams, you're like, oh, I just need to run that task quickly. You can go in here and just say, hey, run this thing quickly, and maybe it prints off a report or something and does something and sends you the details. But maybe you want to do that ad hoc and you don't want to go into the flow app. You don't want to log into the right bit, navigate to your flow, etc., and you don't have your flow button set up. Another handy alternative of constantly working inside of Microsoft Teams is that you could use the flow bot. So that is flow. So we can do all the same things that we can do in the Power Automate web browser inside here. And maybe some limitations. I've not come across any so far, but it gives us another option if we are working inside Microsoft Teams, which is what we're doing a lot of these days. That being said, there are some differences. So there are some things to point out. So this is going to look at your default environment. So this is going to look at your personal productivity environment, and this is where your flows are. However, now we have Project Oakdale, and now we have this Power Apps preview inside of Teams. One of the things we can do, if we go over to the Power Apps and go to Build, I can see my environment here, and I can click See All. And in here, I can create a flow specifically inside of here. So if I'd create new flow, automated or something like that, again, I can have this whole same designer. I can skip. It's not rendering very well there. I can skip. I can add a flow button. I can do this and do that, and I can build these things straight in here. And let's just chuck a compose action in and just say true. And we'll just save this. Flow. So that's saved, and if I go back, I can see the flows are inside of this environment. So it says button compose that I created just now. If I go back to my flow over here and go back to my flows, I will not see that flow inside here. So it's, all these are sorted by when it was modified. I do not have that there because it's not been put in my default environment. It's been put in my special Project Oakdale CDS environment. So the only place to find that is inside of here. So there's my flow. And again, we can build flows directly inside here, inside the Power Apps and the Project Oakdale maker. So it's something really, really interesting to understand and to know about, is that we can use Power Automate inside of Microsoft Teams now. There's some more functionality coming in terms of writing and running flows from certain areas. But for now, we can build things in here, and we can build flows for our Project Oakdale directly inside here as well. And there we have it. That is an introduction to Power Automate inside of Microsoft Teams, both in just an app and both in Project Oakdale as well, or Power Apps preview. What do you guys think? Is this something you've used before? It's not something I've used before, and I've been using Power Automate for a couple of years now. So I think this is a welcome addition. There are some restrictions, as in if I'm building something and someone's trying to chat with me and I haven't popped the window out, It's kind of annoying, but you know, it is what it is. That's a great feature that you should definitely implement, Microsoft. When the notification pops up, a little button to pop chat out. That'd be cool. But else, this is great. I'm using Microsoft Teams day in, day out to build straight from inside of here. It just saves me some time. So yeah, there's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you could drop a like and maybe share it with a friend, that would be appreciated. If you've not already, click the subscribe button and stay up to date with all my latest videos. I'll see you next time.